She's still home. Go home, see my puppy. Love it. It's a beautiful thing.
Now the basketball. Yeah, that'll be important stuff.
Kevin, how have the first couple of days of camp been from your perspective? What has stood out to you just about this group so far?
I think just the temperament of this group. It's one thing to say it, it's one thing to actually see it live here. I think always that first few days of practice you get really sped up on offense. These guys want to go so hard, really anxious and eager to get ready and get going. But defensively, I think more than anything, that's what stood out to me is just how much length we have, the ability to play different lineups, and guys' just willingness to be there for the next guy and sacrifice in the first 3 practices.
Obviously, that was such a big emphasis for you guys last year was the defensive end, and obviously it looks a little different without Lowry. But what do you think is kind of the key to defensive success for you guys?
I think our 2 anchors that hold us down between Evan and J.A. I mean, those guys lead us so much, and that's kind of what we're playing into a little bit. Is I know we had Lowry last year, so we had 3 7-footers, but I mean, you throw Dean out there at 6'10", and then DG and Donovan all over the basketball. People able to switch 1 through 5. Again, I said different lineups as well, but I think just being in our spots, showing our length, funneling different guys. If we need to run them off the 3-point lines, send them into tough 2s, or meet them at the rim, that we put them in there to those big 7-footers. So, they're shot blockers. They're guys that hold down the paint for us, and then, if it's like myself, it's taking charges, finishing possessions. Rolo's the same way. Dean is the same way, being a big 3 or 4 man, being able to rebound and play above the rim. So I think it's just a conscious effort of all of our bigs being there for our wing players, our point guards, our 2-men, our 3-men, that, if they're going to play the perimeter and get beat, that we're going to have their back.
Kevin, you mentioned the temperament in the past couple of days. How would you describe that to us?
I think just more than anything, guys, just willingness to, you've been here, right? Just, listen, able to, really communicate as well, very high level. I think that all starts with JD, but trickles down through the coaching staff. And I think we just have very, very high character people, let alone players, out here with us. So I think we've got better every practice so far. I know it's only a small sample size, but I think guys' just willingness to get better, to communicate and do the right thing is very high level so far.
So going back to your early days, in Minnesota, you were the face of the franchise. You carried a lot for that organization, right? And then you came here to Cleveland, and you had less responsibility. For Donovan coming into this kind of situation, transitioning from Utah to here, lifting that weight off of him, that day-to-day weight, what can that do for somebody?
I think it just gives him a level of freedom to, like you said, get that weight off of his shoulders and just go out there and play. I think, just understanding that we all have his back. We just want him to go out there and be himself. And he's the type of guy with, you mentioned his temperament and just who he is going to fit right in with this group. I think you can tell by his personality and just who he is on and off the floor that he'll jump right in with us and be a great fit for us, be a lock for us. So I think that's huge, is just letting him be himself and grow out of that.
I was good to follow up on that a little bit. You guys are pretty established here. You have a lot of the same players from last year, won 44 games, made it to the play-in tournament. So what's the level of responsibility that you guys have as teammates to make sure that he fits in and this works out the way that you expect it to?
Yeah, I think it's just that. Every time we get together, we bring in a new player. Obviously, it's a little different bringing in a guy that has the experience that he does, as a star in this league, as a perennial all-star. But we, always welcome everybody with open arms. Understand that we have a way of doing things around here, but it's relax is the wrong word. But I think just allowing guys to be themselves and understanding that it's the team. And I think that's what he's hungry for. That's what he wants. So again, I think when the trade went down, when that happened, I think that's what he was most excited about. Is the young core that we have, but also just the entire lineup, the depth of guys, and the excitement around the team is, I think, what's going to help him settle in.
Can you give us an idea on the off season and how you tried to take care of your body and sort of how throughout your career, you've had to maybe change how you can get to 100% on a daily basis?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just understanding what my body needs every day, putting the work in, doing my work early, understanding that I'm at my best when I'm available, I'm feeling good, and when that's the case, I'm typically going to play well. So just chasing the game, as always. Obviously, little nicks and pains, little minor injuries are going to happen throughout an 82-game season, but all you can do is put the work in, rehab, in the weight room, conditioning, and out here on the floor. So I just try and chase as much as I can because I still have that raw, youthful hunger about getting out there on the floor and putting in the work.
Devin, you were here when Isaac was a rookie. What's the difference between him then and him now?
I think it's funny we talk about communication a lot, right? It's like you can even see it in Evan from year 1 to 2 that he's starting to talk a little bit more, starting to be a little bit more engaged. I think Isaac was the same way. Like Ice was kind of feeling it out. We couldn't get a word out of him edgewise, and I said it last year. Now it's like after his second year, you couldn't get him to shut up. And we love that from him. People always ask me like, who's the funniest guy on the team? And a guy that's very slept on, like the dark horse funniest guy on the team is definitely Ice. Like I think his confidence just not only around us and away from the floor, but I think on the court, just understanding what he could do, growing out of his role, and then defensively, him taking the challenge every single night. Like I think between him and Dean, those guys being able to guard so many different positions is such a weapon for us. And Ice just continued to get better through. I feel like every season, but definitely last year, that second half of the season, he was great for us. So again, I expect a lot of big things out of him again this year.
You've accomplished a lot throughout your career. What would winning Sixth Man of the Year mean to you? You got close last year.
Yeah, I got close. But I mean, Tyler Hill was basically, he was the all-star off the bench last year. So I wasn't mad at being runner-up to him. He was more than deserving. But no, definitely just
Pull the plug.
This is the last one.
Yeah.
No, it definitely mean a lot, especially being with this group right here. Understanding that I was able to take it on a different role last year and still be really efficient and still be really effective and be a big part of this group. Whether I'm the 6th, 7th, 8th man, I want to be able to earn my spot, earn my minutes, and just have a similar type of feeling and impact that I did last year. But hopefully I can continue to grow out of that so long as it works for the team.